Say what? Look, I'm on tour right now. I ain't trying.
It's the New OGs. The New OGs is a State Madison Entertainment production, and it's brought to you by Solar Masters. Look, Illinois is changing how people get their electricity, and Solar Masters is helping homeowners in Illinois take advantage of a program that lets you get solar power at no cost. Solar Masters can only work with you if they can save you money. Solar Masters is a black-owned company, a SunPower dealer, an American panel maker with over 30 years of solar experience. They even have a referral program that pays out as much as $500 per referral. So head over to www.gosolarmasters.com and get in contact for a free consultation or to refer someone you know. We are also brought to you by People of Comedy. Get over to People of Comedy on Facebook. Check out all the great shows that they've got over there. Check in daily. They've got new fresh podcasts you can watch. You can listen to wherever you listen to pods. We are live. We are in our own personal studios today. We got our boy Manny in the booth sitting in for James Webb. What's going on, Manny? How you doing, man?
What's going on, guys?
Yes, a new voice. Listen to
Good.
that. We got the backup QB here, which in Chicago is usually a good thing.
Yeah. We about to hit a winning streak. We about to hit a winning streak, right?
Yeah,
here.
man. It's like, holy cow, we might be all right today. We got the backup in.
At least good for one game, huh?
You know it's funny. Several Chicago teams have that type of joy too. Because remember when Derrick Rose kept getting injured, and it was always some 6'2" nigga off the bench that was just just all of a sudden out of nowhere he dropping 30 points a game. That happened like 3 different times.
Just crushing people.
Yeah.
He like, this is my only shot.
Dude,
Yeah,
I wish
man.
I can't remember.
So many contracts. Nate Robinson got a bag off of that deal.
Yeah, it was Nate Robinson, but it was some dude before that was like, at least Nate Robinson had like a reputation, this dunk champion and stuff. Like, he had a history. This was a dude, I can't think of his name, but there was a meme of him when Derrick got hurt. It was like, y'all don't worry, I got this. Because dude, like the next night, put up 26 or some shit like that.
It was John Lucas III.
Yes, that's who it was. John Lucas III. It was like, don't worry, I got this. And he was balling. I ain't even shading John Lucas III. He balled for a minute.
Yeah, it was. That's just a Chicago thing, man. Backup QBs are all the rage. You know, the guys who are coming through the backup are all the rage. So, XL, how you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing groovy, dude. I'm doing super groovy. I got the super fresh new cut going. If you really want to see it, it's on Facebook and IG and shit. If you like want to see the cuts, homegirl Allie K Comedy on IG is a talented hairstylist. She does twists and braids and locks and stuff. And I got to be 100% honest. When I sat in the chair, I was not trying to get this. When I sat in the chair, I sat in the chair. I was just trying to get my new growth tightened up, and she was like, "I can style it." So I was like, "Okay, whatever, style it." And when it was done, it was what it is. And it's just dope. I like it. I got a lot of good feedback. So I feel
it's a good look, man. It's interesting. It's because of there's a weird thing with your headset in the background that the spot in between your headset and the actual in your head, it takes out whatever the green screen shit was doing for you.
Oh yeah. I see
It's wild. Like normally the hair's down so you can't see it, but without that, it's like.
Let's see if I can do this.
Fuck it, man. Nobody cares. Nobody's gonna, we're not gonna get any complaints. They're gonna be like, the podcast is great, but that little negative space.
Well, you know what's weird is because the way she has it set back, and I got like all this massive real estate of forehead happening.
Right.
Like my forehead is a straight up billboard. There's a lot of space between my eye, the top of my eyebrows.
You look like a cage fighter. Like you fight in dark cage matches somewhere. That's where you look.
Hey, he looked like T'Challa's unknown uncle.
To Reggie.
You the one from Oakland though. You the
I'm the other Oakland nigga. I'm the other Oakland nigga they didn't talk about because I wasn't fucking up.
It's a great way to hide any like loss of hair down the back by making it all go to like 2 spots only.
Damn, I'm not gonna do the whole dip, but she like got it in the back the way it comes in the back,
Yeah.
I still got my permanent yarmulke happening back there.
Right.
But like it's camouflaged like a motherfucker. Like she took care of me, dog.
Well, like back in the day, I remember my dad, like when he, because my dad lost his shit, and it looked like a putting green, because he grew all the other shit out, and then like because he was 6'6", so it's like, well, you had to be Artist Gilmore to see that nigga's head anyway. But like he'd sit down on the couch and I'd be messing with him, and I'd look and I'd be like, oh wait a minute, and I would like start to reach my hand into this like golf size hole of a
yeah. Oh, dude,
it's like how you just lose hair in just like a cylindrical fashion down the back center of your head.
So here's the deal, fam. Initially the reason why I used to wear my hair just like yours was because I started getting that, and the dude that used to cut my hair back then when I was getting out of college, dude used to joke all the time because I had an afro, and he joke all the time just like, it must be nice to be 6'7". Nobody knows our secrets, but I know. Yeah, nobody knows your secret. That's why, because he was like, why the fuck you wearing your hair like this, man? Like, you about to go get a real job and shit. I was like, hey, nigga, I'm trying to keep hope alive. that was before you get hems and all the other shit you getting out of to fix your hair situation.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want the other follicles to start to feel bad. So I just gotta. I'm hoping these follicles that are still growing will motivate these other follicles to maybe get their shit together.
Oh man, hey, I'm going through that right now. Like, plus, I have, with the transplant, some of the drugs that they give you make your hair fall out.
Oh, okay,
So
wow.
I never cared about my hair until I ain't had no more. Right? I ain't give a damn what my hair looked like. So I was like, oh, wait a minute, I got used to it looking like this. Like, I don't want it to look no different. But it is what it is. They used to make me dye my beard because people don't want old niggas on TV. So you gotta look younger than you are.
My dude, if you watch this show from anywhere from 5 months ago, this shit was.
There's a lot of ranges that have gone on with the colors in your facial hair, dog. I'm not gonna lie.
I ain't even
your
ashamed
shit
about
got more range than.
I ain't even ashamed about it. I look like a black member of the Grateful Dead at one point.
Your beard is Gary Oldman.
So
that is who. I don't know, man. I've been shaving my head since I was like 15 years old. So like, at one point at the start of the Panini, I was like, is my shit coming back? So I just like let it go for a minute to see. And I was like, cool, well, we solved this problem. It's not,
Question.
Yeah.
Are we calling the pandemic the Panini now?
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
that you just let that ride? You just throw that in the conversation and make that a real like I'm gonna throw it out there and see if it catch.
See, this is where your oldness comes in. I hang with the children, okay?
The children,
me and the youth comics kick it.
I'm gonna get an outside opinion on this from the youth involved. Manny, first chance to be part of the show. Is that true, Manny? Do you call it the Panini?
I have not heard that yet, but
I'm
I'm 26. Maybe I'm not in touch with the youth anymore. I don't know.
I mean, Manny's spending his Friday sitting here with us right now, so I don't know how connected Manny is to the youth.
Is that what Little X's song was about? Panini? Was he talking about the pandemic? Is that what it was?
Going down to get the Panini is what it was all about.
I thought, he was going to get that devil Panini, that hot devil Panini.
Rob, how you doing, man? What you got going on?
I am outstanding. The new video came out.
Yeah,
and it's so funny. The video we changed, huh?
That final cut is so good.
Oh my goodness, I was so taken aback. I mean, it took us a little while, but man, if you guys haven't heard, you can see the new not Toby Jones video because laws and shit.
Yeah, DCFS and everything is decided that you can't use the Toby Jones name.
So here's the thing: it's now called Moby Combs. Same character. His new business is cryotherapy cryptocurrency advisory.com.
Got it. Cryotherapy and cryptocurrency advisory.com.
Yes,
Got it.
that is what
That's
it's
the new
called. It's
business.
up right now. The video just came out last night. We got a few thousand hits already. Please check it out. It's also a song. It's merchandise, everything. I've been selling bullshit. Now I'm selling real shit. So come by.
If you go to Original Jones BBQ, is it on there on Instagram?
No.
Where is it? Where can people find? Where can they find it on Instagram?
Hold on. I'll get back.
I know you sent me the link to it, but I don't know where.
It's at Robert L. Hines. You have a Robert L. Hines Instagram.
Oh, yeah, it's
too,
at
right?
my website. It's at robertlhines.com.
Go to robertlhines.com. Check out the new Kobe. Is it Moby Combs? Moby Combs.
Moby
Who
Combs.
is definitely not Toby Jones.
Not
Right.
Toby Jones. If you happen to be a member of the IRS or any other federal agency, we don't know that nigga Toby Jones.
If you are in the EPA or you are concerned about the environment anyway, the barbecue foot massage thing was not him.
Not him. They look a lot alike, but that's not the same dude.
Similar
if you work for
voices
the
and
World
everything.
Wildlife Federation and you are hunting down illegal panda traffickers, this is not the man you are looking for.
Hey, I'm just saying, it's a lot of oil in meat and food.
If you work for ICE and you feel that Kobe Jones may actually be Haitian, and you just want to check his papers, Moby Combs is not that man. You got
That's not the same guy. Not the same guy. So
he is a brand new law-abiding citizen.
Right, who's just dealing in some cryotherapy and some cryptocurrency advisory. And if you go to robertlhines.com, you can see the full video and check out what's going on. That's
Robert L. Hines on Instagram.
Yeah, if you go to Robert L. Hines on Instagram, you can. That's hilarious. We'll put it up on the new OGs page too on Facebook, so you can find it there.
By the way,
before the day is over. Yeah.
Barbecue koala bear is the shit. I miss it, Toby.
Moby.
The meat is so full.
Barbecue koala bear, you got to bring that back.
It's I think it's the bamboo that does it.
Yes, just sweeter, more tense meat.
I got banned from Facebook for 24 hours last week. That was a fun thing. I was responding to somebody's post asking about the 48 laws of power, and I said it was like the art of war for American business bros. for dumb American business bros, and I got banned for 24 hours for that.
Like, I feel like Zuckerberg did that personally. Like
I want to be clear. I during the whole, after Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, I fell down a rabbit hole of white supremacy Facebook people, where at one point I landed on the old, that Brazzers meme where it's the one white chick on the couch with the brothers.
5-6 brothers.
They had photoshopped Ruth Bader Ginsburg's head on there, and then 6 recently dead black dudes were the black guys behind her.
Wow.
And that was just up on Facebook, and I said that the 48 laws of power was the art of war for dumb American business bros, and I got a 24-hour ban.
Hey, Bobby, I'm gonna be fair with you right now because it ain't nothing if he ain't fair. The Ruth Bader Ginsburg shit is funnier.
I mean, it is heinously, wrongly funny, right?
It's heinous. It's wrong. It's wrong. This woman is a legend. She's a queen.
Right. Yes.
She's a hero among us.
Yes. And also,
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I think part of it is I'm still upset over Chad Boseman dying, and he was one of the people.
Oh, you're one of the guys. Hey, you know
it was like Kobe, Chadwick Boseman.
You know what? Fuck that. I'm happy for Ruth Bader. I'm happy for her. Go up to heaven, and that's exactly what I hope her heaven is. What if that's her heaven? What if her heaven is like, I wish I was young and I could get it from an NBA player?
Let me ask you though,
that plays Black Panther, and then she died, and God was like, you were a star. Boom.
What is it for Chadwick Boseman though?
Huh?
What is it for Chadwick Boseman though?
Maybe
I don't know. I've never seen young Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Could she get it? I don't know.
I
just don't know if that's his game though. You know what I mean?
Hey.
Okay.
Hey, what's funny to me is Mark Zuckerberg was looking at your post like, oh, smart little poor person, take some of this. Ugh. I'm a god, bitch.
That's such an algorithm is that?
Because
X almost had a point, but the weed was too strong.
Knocked it right out his head. Knocked it right out.
You gotta come back and be like, "What the fuck was I
It's Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg fucking up my weed. It's the microchip in the back. Damn, I forgot what I was gonna say. No. Okay, so I used to be a quote unquote businessman. I put that in quotation marks. I used to try to be part of the system like that. And I read all those books. And I remember the 48 Laws of Power. I remember when I saw that book, the first thing I thought was, this book is evil. This book is like taking everything that you're supposed to do to be positive and try to be a positive business person, just like to be successful.
I own the book. It's insane.
And I felt like I was like, this feels like a book. It feels Machiavellian. It feels like it was like a combination between The Prince and like they were trying to break it down in a way, but like it was how to manipulate people and how to dominate situations. It was never about like how to develop relationships that make you a better person and enrich both people and mutual understanding and growth through partnerships. It was about like taking motherfuckers out.
Well, it's you know, it's that American only capitalism works, and capitalism only works if you are running at 1,000%, personal life be damned, family life be damned. It's about getting to a place in which you can finally sit back and enjoy the spoils of your conquest, right? Like that's the whole, it's all these like, here are these methods on how you can build this thing so that in X amount of years, you don't have to work for anybody and you can be your own man and your own boss. And like, that's all that. And, you know, it's seeped into, it's a thing that happens in comedy too. You know, there's this, I don't know, I sent you guys the article. I don't know if you got a chance to check it out or not, but there's this whole article about, no, the article about the hustling concept of ruining comedy. And it immediately turned into, it got shared in a couple comedy groups and immediately became the subject of this massive like argument that's been going on now for 2 days between people who think that the best way to do comedy is 7 nights a week, balls to the wall, and people who think that like, you know, it's good to sometimes take a night and be with your family, or that some people have families and therefore they can't be out 5 nights a week. Or
so I literally during this break, I spent some time with some friends. There's still a couple friends. My buddy Rob, shout out Rob.
Rob loves shout outs.
Special day in the family out there. Shout out to you guys for your family. I know he watches the podcast.
Families love shout outs too.
The 10.5 years that I've done comedy, like 8 of them, I really sacrificed family and friends a lot because I was and I probably will be again as soon as this shit starts up again, but I was a balls to the wall 3 or 4 open mic a night guy for like my first 5 years easily. I started slowing up when I started getting booked more because I was literally doing shows. Because
a lot more chicks were trying to fuck you. Like, it's date night, nigga. I'm taking a night off.
I was trying to do shows. I was doing shows, and what I reflect on now is a bit of a lazier attitude, and I feel like I suffered a little bit because I used to, when I did the show is the show, but like I went and did a mic before the show, and I used to do a mic after the show. Then I started doing on show nights. I just started doing the shows, and like, I'm going to go back to my old thing. I respect people having lives. Some of the best comics that I know are people with families. I'm a person with a son who I spend a lot of time with, and I value that time and relationship with. But I think to get it depends on what your goal is, man. Everybody got different goals. If I think I have enough talent that I can work a full year as a comic getting booked places, I believe I have that talent. And so I am trying to push that. I'm trying to make that happen. I'm trying to do that where bookers know, oh yeah, XL coming, we're about to have a hot weekend. That's what I want to do. That's not everybody's goal. Some people want to just, you know, be a better public speaker. Some people just like
it's also
doing
just
it
not a
because they make
requirement
friends.
for everybody, right? Like,
yeah.
It's also like
Some people are more talented than me, and they
right.
need less
Some people
time
got to
on
go
stage.
out. Like, you know, I'm in the same boat. Go ahead, Rob.
Not only does it have to do with your degree of talent, it also has to do with how your talent is spaced. In other words, like if you look at a video game and you see these parts of this person, if he can run fast, this is his speed, this is his that, this whatever your strong suits are, that would dictate how much time you got to spend in the gym, right? Because we all know Shaq was dunking on niggas and wasn't even going to the gym, right? So I'm saying, like, so with that in mind, I'm saying to you, like, I didn't really think about it until you guys said it, but honestly, I never really worked that hard to be a comedian. I never really did. I had a great time being a comedian, and that's what I showed on stage. Now, if it worked for you to be all stressed out with your notebook, scratching shit up, if that make you feel funnier, then enjoy that nervousness. But for me, I'm at a party. Shit, I'm at a party and everybody's finna listen to me. Shit, this is all I've ever wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the truth is too is like it varies, and actually you're not wrong. Like what you're trying to do in comedy can be very different. Like there's a number of different ways you can participate in stand-up comedy. You're trying to be a writer, you're trying to be a road comic. If you just want to be somebody who's doing local alt stuff, you just want to be a local kind of comic. There are all different areas and arenas and parts of stand-up that you can get into. You know what I mean? You can be, are you trying to get like big Netflix specials that are going to turn you into a sitcom star? Or are you just trying to do a thing because it's a passion that you have? And like, you see it as an art, and so you're going to pursue it in the way that allows you to express the art in the best way that you feel possible. That's the thing that you should be doing. And for some people, their only comfortability is either going balls to the wall or not at all, which are the same people who you often find 4 years in talking about now they're doing sober comedy, which is not a knock against alcoholism or getting sober. I'm a fan of all those things, but like, it's not necessarily a different mentality. An obsession mentality, even with the thing that you love, can be good and can also be dangerous. And so like learning how to balance, right? Like X, you said, I think I could spend a year of just going balls to the wall and like set up a thing. And if you set out a game plan where you go, I'm going to spend a year going as hard as I can, and I'm going to chill for a few months and I'll do a little of this and a little of that. And kind of, that is like, that's not the same as someone who goes, the only way you're going to make it as a real comic, if you're serious, is if you're going out 6 nights a week, 2 nights almost every night, 2 mics almost every night, and just fucking grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding. That is not necessarily healthy. That's you know what I mean? Like that is not necessarily, you got to live your life a little bit. Like what are you talking about at some point of all you're doing is being at mics with people who are talking about their butts and their dicks? Like that's just not gonna, at some point your comedy becomes about everybody else's comedy and the bar that you're in.
Also, and like I said, because everybody has different, I mean, I have been on my high horse before. So if any of the Chicagoland suburban comics are watching this and like XL got some nerve, because I have admonished people before, but I admonished these people because these were people who were asking me to put them on shows and shit. And the thing I say I admonished them for was I've seen people go into mics and shit, but I saw them in January and they were doing this set. And when I saw them in December, they were doing the exact same set and nothing had changed. Like, wasn't no new tags, wasn't no, it was that was their material. And okay, that's cool, but why are you doing that at a mic? You clearly have that.
Why are you going out 6 nights a week to do the same 4 minutes?
Yeah, you got that down, fam. You have nailed that. You've seen no other area or avenue to go through that.
It may not be about the material for them. It just may be about the company and the laughter.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So like,
Correct.
So to anybody who like, if you were at the Comedy Awards and the Suburban Comedy Awards when I did that rant and I shit on all the newbie comics who were doing that. If you were one of those comics and I said that to you, I apologize. I don't know what your goals are, but that were asking me to put them on shows and shit, I still feel that way, motherfucker.
For me,
expand, grow, do more shit.
For me, the interesting thing to figure out was interesting. I mean, and once you get past the thing, you can look back and figure out what the problem was. But I couldn't tour that much because I was on dialysis. So for a long time, I couldn't put that much work in. But when I did get the chance, it was just like riding a bike for me. And I say that to say this. In all of these years I've been doing comedy, I've been getting better despite not doing it that much. And I don't have nothing holding me back now. I can do this shit like a job.
Well, it's interesting.
It's about to be really fun.
It's interesting because, one, I've got a background in, I've worked in gyms. I've studied fitness. I was a fitness education major in college. Like, it's funny watching a lot of people who are not necessarily in the best shape go through an argument that I've watched happen in fitness over time, where I've watched guys who are in the gym 2 hours a day. And I just go, you guys are out. There's absolutely no reason to be in a gym lifting weights 2 hours a day. It's unless you're spending an hour of that time fucking around, there's absolutely zero reason to be lifting weights for 2 hours in a gym. And when you first get in a gym, you may be like, shit, man, I need to be in here for like an hour 15, just to get my shit together. But the reality is like, once you realize that like you may be getting as good a results being in the gym for 40 minutes, right, as you are being there for an hour and a half. So why would you go for an hour and a half? And I think that happens with comics who start to recognize like, yeah, I could be out 6 nights a week, but am I getting any more benefit than when I was going out 4 nights a week? Am I, you know what I mean? Like, I'm more tired. I'm definitely closer to getting fired at work. Because that's the other thing is it also points to a privilege, right? Like if you can afford to be out in a bar 6 nights a week, supporting the bar and tipping like we like to remind each other to do, which they should do if you're going to be out, like you also have to have the money and the free time to be out all that much. Oh, you're going to be out at 2 or 3 mics a night for 7 nights for a year? Well, I hope you can afford it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you got to go from one location to another. Like how many GoFundMe's have we seen for comics who lost their job and are trying to get their shit together or live in a neighborhood where they got robbed for the 5th time? Because like you're pursuing a passion, which I am in full support of, but also like you do have to figure out how to balance your life so that you're, how many comics parents pay their rent or their phone bill or their whatever, the car payment. Like half the comics out here, I'll never forget. There was a comic who was telling me about, he was at open mic in Chicago and he'd come off and he was just shaking his head. And I was like, what's up? And he goes, I was talking about being poor, not having any money and struggling. And they were just sitting there and it's in a bar in a neighborhood where it's not rich people. And at one point he just stopped and he goes, how many of you pay your own cell phone bill? And like, maybe 10% of the room raised their hands. And he was like, this is not for you. And he goes, I just walked off stage. Yeah. And that's the thing is like, there's a lot of comics who like, there's a lot of people in entertainment who are able to chase that dream because someone else is funding it for them. And they can definitely be out 7 nights a week because they don't have to be up for anything in the morning. Absolutely. They may work a job, but if they lose it, they're not at risk of losing their apartment. And that's, I'm not trying to shit on those people, but it is wrong for people who have that privilege to look at somebody who's got to struggle and scrape to get by or is fighting for a dream that they're trying to get to and tell them you're not really hustling hard enough. If you would just hustle harder, you'd make it. Like, I definitely have fucked up at least a job because at the very beginning of trying to do comedy, because I was doing that. I was more invested in getting the comedy and making sure the job was stable.
It's weird. I like hanging out. I love hanging out and kicking it, but because I don't drink anymore, hanging out late is less attractive because you standing in the bar for 2 hours drinking water is not fun. Even if you're high, it's still people lose their minds. Yeah. Because even though you're high, you're clearer than them. You're not in the same place they are. So like that, they're getting progressively whatever, and you're still just like. And I try to like get myself blitz. And no matter how high I got, like I was not as fucked up as them.
No, you just watch us being like, are you really starting to function? Like people, they start doing that shit and just like, oh no, what the fuck is going on?
So that's not as appealing. And also in what seems kind of a converse thing, but I guess it makes sense in my life anyway. It has my son when I'd have him and I'd have a show. By the time I got done with the show, if I came immediately home as soon as I got off stage, he'd be asleep when he was a kid. Well, now he's 16 and he's halfway to 17. He's up watching Godzilla vs. King Kong with, like, what up, nigga? And which for me is appealing. It's not a bad thing. It's like, oh shit, if I get home, I could go kick Jaden's ass at 2K real quick.
Right. Right.
Right.
Or you could sit out at the bar, and watch these people get drunk.
Deteriorate slowly. And by the way, I'm gonna take that lie off. He doesn't watch the show, but I'm not gonna lie. He been smoking me at 2K.
You want that to come back and catch you someday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, my daddy lied on me. Your kid's gonna be in the NBA. You're not gonna give you no money. This is gonna come up in the court case.
I'm scared he's gonna punch me in the chest one day and find out that he could take me. I'm terrified. I'm terrified of shit every day. Like one day he's just gonna like, you know what? Let me see something.
You're gonna take the last fish stick, is what you're gonna do. You're gonna take the last fish stick, and you're gonna lose his shit on you. It's gonna be all over. It was
when they little.
It was Transvisibility Day the other day, which, you know, this is a podcast that's fully in support of transvisibility. Whoever you are and wherever you find it, you know, we are in full support of you living your life, with being able to live it equally, which is a big thing. It was also a week when Lil Nas X dropped a new video called Montero, or Call Me By Your Name, which set people that believe in a sky beast off into some crazy ass tizzy shit. Because like a day later, these shoes came out that were not. I mean, Nike didn't put them out, but they're Nike shoes that have every shoe, the sole has a drop of blood in it, which I think is the sole of the shoe has a drop of blood on it. I mean, the minute you start walking around, I've walked in Chicago downtown. I've already walked through plenty of drops of blood.
There's so much DNA. You can start a civilization off the bottom of most people's shoes.
You know how much houselessness person piss I've walked through in my life? You know what I mean? Like, you think I'm worried about a drop of blood on a shoe?
The motherfucker is like he played that. I can't remember who said it. I think it was J.R. Davis. Shout out JR.
JR love
shout out.
He said the dude is brilliant marketing because the song is mediocre at best, but because he did this crazy ass video and the shoe, it got mad love where it would not have probably tracked at all. Now it's like, you know, everybody talking about it. He's like, if you just took all this shit away and just looked at the song, it's like, to be honest with you, the song is bad.
The song's too short, but I like the song, honestly. I like the song, but it's just too short for me. I wish it was longer, but you know.
Yeah, you know what's funny? There are some things when I know I can't do it because of the fucking show that we're doing right now, but there's things that I see that as soon as it comes up on my feed, I'm like, nope. I'm not jumping into that. And the Nas X shit was one. Like, as soon as that shit came out, I saw that shit and I was like, nope, I'm not engaging in that at all. I'm not taking a side on it. I think the only thing that I said, because somebody posted, so just because I like Bone Thugs and Harmony and some other shit that might have some demonic stuff, I gotta like Nas X. Like, no, you ain't gotta like it, but you can't shit on it. Like, you can't shit on it for that reason.
You can't be like, oh no, how dare he?
Yeah, like, you can't, like, if you just sit on it and say it's a mediocre song or blah, blah, but you can't go after the demonic shit after you was just bumping Bone Thugs and Harmony, motherfucker.
You know it ain't the demonic shit.
Yeah, it's never the demonic shit.
You know it's not the demonic shit.
Dude flying down the pole, booty up. That's what it was. That's exactly.
I have a 20-second Carl Thomas, R&B legend Carl Thomas story. Carl Thomas, I think, heard like a Bone Thugs and Harmony tape before they came out because he was with Bad Boy, and I don't know if they got shot there or what, but whatever. He heard some shit like summer before they came out, and he just happened to come home. I think we did a show or a benefit show where I rapped at or something like that, and he was telling us about it. He was freaked the fuck out because he's a church boy at the time. He's a grown man now, but he was young, the church boy, and he was like, man, this Hollywood shit is demonic, dog. They was praying the motherfuckers. And we thought he was exaggerating. And then Bone Thugs and Harmony came out, and we were all like, oh my God, Carl wasn't lying. And then some devil river shit. This shit fucked us up for a minute, man.
Well, I didn't know any of that. I just heard the song and didn't like it.
You know, obviously Rob is right though. Like, the issue here is the fact that this dude slid down a pole and then gave the devil a lap dance. Like, it's the gay shit. It's the gay shit. It's always the gay shit. People don't care about the satanic shit because everybody knows that like symbolism gets used for all types of shit. We always use that shit. They got a show called Lucifer that was on Fox, is on Netflix now. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck, right? Christians ain't even protesting that shit off. The show is literally about the devil says, fuck you, and God decides to go live on earth and just like solve crimes and shit like a regular ass nigga.
7 seasons. It says 6 seasons. But
It's a great show. I love it.
And yeah, the entire show is him shitting on God. God's not who you think he is. He's an asshole.
Not a single Christian mad.
Yeah.
Now, you know why? Because Homeboy's a player and he's got a British accent, okay? If the dude, if he was black and from Harlem, they'd hate that motherfucker too.
if that same character was Idris Elba, that motherfucker, they'd be marching on that shit right now.
Hey man, when Black Jesus came out, I'm saying black people who I know and love was shitting on it, like, oh, they blaspheming and all. I'm like,
I love that show.
Well, the weird intersection here is I've seen probably 3 or 4 black dudes in the last 2 days fight against the idea of being called homophobic while still saying they disagree with 2 men or 2 women being together. And at some point, and we've talked about it on the show before, but at some point, Black people in America who are the descendants of slaves need to realize that Christianity is a religion that was put onto them and is not necessary. And because it was not a thing that they came here with, is a thing they should find themselves able to freely lose the indoctrinated thoughts of. One of which is also this idea that being a black man requires this masculinity that allows for no acceptance of homosexuality besides they're going to do it anyway. And I don't want to be called a bad person, even though I disagree with the concept. Like, as if that's for you to do.
And Christians, and Christians, you could feel very safe and secure in doing this and feeling this way because the anti-gay shit technically not even in the Bible. This shit was put in the 40s. Literally in the 1940s. All you got to do, this is very simple. You could Google this shit. You could buy one of these. Buy a Bible that was printed buy a Bible printed in the 1930s. It doesn't say the gay shit in it. It says boys. The passages in Leviticus that you always reference, that's about pedophilia, not homosexuality. They changed it on some bullshit to indoctrinate you on some bullshit.
I'll be honest.
These are facts. You can Google it. You don't have to believe me.
I'll be honest. I don't care what white Christians think about it. I'm talking about black men.
Yeah,
I'm talking about black men who are wrapped up in this, who are wrapped up in like Christianity or patriarchal concepts that are backed by Christianity.
That's what they always go to. They always drop Leviticus, which by the way, again,
I'm talking about drop Christianity.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
You know, like we don't need to debate any of the books because it's all a religion so at one point there were slaves that were black and there were some Irish slaves. There's some different slaves, different races in there. And then they passed a law that said if you were Christian, you could get your freedom from being slavery. And there are a bunch of Christian white slaves who were immediately free. And then some black people started becoming Christian so that they get their freedom. They're like, oh, no, now it's now black people can only be slaves. And that's when they changed a lot from that. And then they started wanting to show off their slaves at church. If you were a good nigga, you got to get dressed up and go to church. And so they brought that religion home. And to try and help, calm the savages, they pushed that religion on black people during slavery. And all these mission trips that you see, where you see on these, these dating profiles, these white girls holding little black babies in Africa, those are some motherfuckers who are on some mission trip trying to teach African people how to be Christians. They have pushed this religion and ingrained it in people. And after 400 years, you have these men who are 40 fucking years old who are sitting here trying to argue with you about whether they agree with the idea of homosexuality. It's just fucking insanity to me. Yeah. It's like,
and by the way, here's something even crazier about those Christian missionary trips that I just found out from a thing. A lot of pharmaceutical drugs, specifically women's pregnancy birth control, are tested, used, and they go through those fucking missionary trips and shit. That's how they make contacts with with different areas and impoverished areas in Africa, and they do their fucking test trials on black women there. And that's how they find out all the fucked up shit before they sell it here. Quite a few of them. It's like at first I thought it was just one, but apparently there's like a dozen of them that they should, and they go through those fucking Christian missionary services. Christianity from its onset has done nothing but poison every area that has gone to it. Poison what is Hispaniola, every place south of the American border, Mexico, the Central America, South America. South America and Africa have very similar poison doctrines where they have this ultra masculinity doctrine where so homosexual rights, trans rights and shit like that aren't recognized in the fashion that they should be because they're all based in this insane Catholic bullshit. And all of it, I don't want to get into the whole science behind that, but at the end of the day, it's all based on bullshit. It's all a lie. And people are born how they are born. And if your God doesn't make mistakes, then either you're wrong or he makes mistakes. They both those things can't be true. Either he makes mistakes.
Sure they can. If you say
or you're wrong and he doesn't make mistakes, or you're right, he doesn't make mistakes, and they're not mistakes, and there's nothing wrong with them, and they're who they're supposed to be, which is what I choose to believe. Okay, there's nothing wrong with them. They're who they're supposed to be. He didn't make any mistakes. Your philosophy is wrong.
The thing that's interesting to me is that, well, first of all, you can't have it both ways when you have a 400-year head start. When you have issued this amount of bullshit out of a dump truck of garbage over 400 years, somebody probably gonna catch a cold or something. You get what I'm saying? Like something gonna happen when you sit in shit all the way to your very soul. Then you probably gonna get some diseases and shit. And so that's why I'm saying, like, it is an additional control mechanism over your slaves, and you get the people that's closest to your slaves to take on that culture too, and make sure that it benefits that part of the culture. Because this way, I ain't got to deal with none of it. It's just self-contained. So you white folks keep them niggas that's close to you in check, and we rich people will keep being rich. Thank you.
What were you saying next? We gonna call him what?
Oh no, move on.
I thought we were gonna call him Rob 400-year head start Hines.
No. I was gonna say we gotta get James. Yeah, we gotta get James to just get a drop button, just like Lockdown. You get a button like 400-year head start. Here goes Rob.
Fire off the missiles.
Hit the 400-year head start button. And I ain't mad at you about it. I love it. Shit, if you call your comedy album that.
It is a recurring reality for sure. You know what I mean? And like, you know, it carries over into other shit. The George Floyd trial is currently going on up in Minnesota. If the world was fair, it don't look good for the defense.
Man, the prosecution is slicing and dicing.
They're just getting the truth. That's all that's happening.
I'm saying, if you know what his defense is supposed to be, they are preemptively like destroying his defense to the point that the defense attorney, who I thought at the top of this, I was like, damn, this thing actually seemed like he might be competent. The more and more this is going on, he looks so Trumpy. He looks so much like a Trump supporter type motherfucker. Like he's getting destroyed. He has tried multiple times to position witnesses in a fashion that fits a narrative that he wants to say. And every time the witnesses, lay people, not actors, not performers, not lawyers themselves, but lay people are like, no. What you're saying is incorrect, and let me explain to you why it's incorrect. And then start like the EMT, the EMT chick with the dope ass haircut. I can tell she bangs brothers. Shout out, girl.
She loves shout outs.
She might be lesbian sister. She like black people. That's my point. She smoked Newports, but
maybe cools.
Her and the first and the woman from the gas station, the EMT and the woman from the gas station, both of them. Oh my God! I was like, God damn! You got a Daquan. You got a baby named Daquan, don't you? I can say that.
Dude, the humanity that was on display was amazing. And as I was watching it, I'm like, they started to change my mind about the law. What the fuck is going on now? Like,
no, this is what you said.
Let me say this real quick, man. My first thought was like, this must be what it feels like to be white. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is so easy. This is so easy to bust your ass. Like, you made it amazingly easy to do this. Like, and then he just stood there like a dumbass with his hands in his pocket, and then he looked directly at the camera like, yes, I'm killing him. And then, like, hey, ain't nothing gonna happen to me. That's why I feel good in doing this.
I feel like this is a breakthrough. Like, Rob just had an epiphany. He's like, this is what it must feel like to be white. Like, this is what I've been trying to tell you about, like, working in the system, nigga. If we could just get them to act like how the system's supposed to work, this shit is actually pretty cool. It's actually pretty cool if the shit works like it's supposed to work. The thing I forgot to tie around is, like, I'll give you an example. They're trying to portray three things with George Floyd. They're trying to say he had a drug problem, and that was he was hostile, and that the crowd was hostile. And the witnesses tore apart all of his defense things. They tore apart the drug thing, because even if it was a drug thing, they took George Floyd's pulse at like 6 minutes, a little bit, like 6.5 minutes, somewhere in there. They took his pulse and he didn't have one. And dude kept his knee on his neck for 3 more minutes after that. Like, that's case over. That's the end of the case right there. Like, when you look at that, like, you clearly didn't give a fuck about this man's life. They didn't told you he has no pulse. They acknowledged it. EMT. There was no pulse.
I mean, also the lieutenant and the sergeant both were like, yeah, man, it was fucked up. It was way too long. They're both like, that's not the way we do shit here.
This is probably the last good fluid thought I'm gonna have before the tea kicks in. So let me say this.
X has got the mushroom tea again.
Yes, I have. This is probably the best description of what the prosecution did. They had everything from a 9-year-old kid to like a couple teenagers, an EMT, a professional MMA fighter, a woman working across the street at the gas station, the 911 operator who took the call, and 2 cops who were seniors who knew what the things would do. And they all had them tell the same fucking story. And they all, not only did they all tell the same story, that everybody from the 9-year-old to the fucking retired cop saw it the same way. They all looked at it instantly and was like, this is wrong. He's killing him. This is wrong. A 9-year-old can see it. A retired professional cop who trained motherfuckers can see it. An EMT saw it. A professional fighter saw it. So the fact that that cop, Chauvin, and the cops around him say they couldn't see it or they wasn't like that, fuck you. Fuck everything you got to say. There's no way you could come out of that. A 9-year-old can see it, nigga. How could you?
I just want to rewind this to one quick thought. This is not the first time this has happened. You see what I'm saying? That's what has happened is, here's what's problem. The problem is we have never been closer together and further apart because of our cell phones. Now, if you can look at the thing, and we starting to hang out a lot, right? So everybody love everybody. Like, I ain't got no problem with nobody, and nobody got a problem with me. So if something happens and it's affecting me, the people that I know are starting to be like, fuck that. And they getting in the streets. Now, when they come in the streets, there's some other people that's mad as hell. Like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to tear this shit up. So they know that if they let this one white boy go, because people been seeing this for years now, and they're getting tired of it. And so I think this white boy just happened to be to pull the bad card. You know what I mean? Everybody let him killing niggas, and his had the bullet in it.
It is for sure. I mean, we're for sure in that territory, right? Like, after everything that went down in Minneapolis, like, I don't know. I'm sure, as impartial as a jury might be trying to be, it's a tough thing if they don't come back with some problems for this man, right? Like, I am not suggesting there should be. I am just saying that I see problems in Minneapolis.
If there's a hung jury, if there's 1 or 2 jurors that somehow cannot convict on either one of these charges, I think there's 3 counts total of murder. As far as murder goes, if you can't convict on none of that, I want an immediate investigation into that motherfucker's finances, everybody in their family. I want to see, did somebody get out of jail? Did somebody get a heart transplant, an organ donor transplant? What the fuck happened that you, or is this motherfucker a member of the KKK? Like, I want to know what the fuck was it? Because
they said at one point they had, I think it was a lieutenant or a sergeant on, who said that essentially once they had him handcuffed, like, he might kick a little bit, but like, essentially once you get somebody handcuffed, they're pretty much, when you got 3-4 people around, essentially it's done. So like, you got him. You just got to be chill. Like, that's the other thing that troubled me is, like, what's the deal with having to get him out of there so quickly? They're so, like, what's the deal with, like, you gotta get you in the car? Like, why can't you just wait till the man calms down? Like, What if it takes you 10 minutes to let the dude chill out? You know what I mean? Maybe get the guy a little water or something so he's not freaking out, and you let him calm down, and you like get him in the car in 10 minutes once he's fucking eased down.
You know, it's something that nobody. This is clearly the smaller part of this, and why nobody's ever even talked about it. But he was accused of passing a fake $20 bill. The kid that called, that he didn't call the cops. He told his boss, I guess.
Right? Yeah, he told his manager. Yeah.
But like, they don't know if it was a fucking fake $20 bill. It was like a 19-year-old kid.
He's a suspect.
18-year-old kid.
It's an alleged situation.
It's an alleged situation. And I know for a fact, because I used to work in banking, that the vast majority of people who pass fake bills don't know they pass fake bills.
Correct.
Like,
it's often accidental.
Somebody passed that shit. So here you are thinking you passing some legit money, and a motherfucker's like, you passing fake bills. Okay, I would be indignant. I'm not just gonna be like, okay, take me. I'm a calmly get in the squad car. I'll be like, nigga, no, I didn't. This is real money, motherfucker. Or somebody gave me a fake bill, but I'm not. Well, I think to plead my case.
I think the video from in the store gives some credence to that, because he paid and then he like hung out in the store for a minute. He didn't like pay. Like, listen, as someone who may or may not have participated in some old school crime back in the day.
You don't hang out.
When you pull the dumb shit, you don't stick around the crime scene. The soonest you can get the fuck away from where the problem is, like, you certainly just don't go sit in your car for another 15 minutes after that. Like, ain't done. Like, oh, we done slipped the man all the fake 20s. Let's bone the fuck out, dog. We ain't sticking around here no more.
That's something that came out in this, and I didn't know about this before, because I was like, was these motherfuckers just, because, you know, sometimes this shit happen. I know somebody who got arrested because they had ski mask on in the summertime in the car, because they was literally pulling up to the spot they was about to rob. Like they was pulling up the spot they was about to rob, and a cop just happened to be like, and like pulled up on them like, the fuck? So like sometimes shit like that happens. So I was like, I thought maybe that shit happened to do. No, this was a call in.
Hold on. This man was in his car. The people who worked at the spot came out and talked to them at the car twice, and they still didn't leave. That's how calm they were about the situation. About their level of guilt they felt they had in the moment was so little that they came out and talked to them twice in the car before the cops showed up, and they still weren't like, man, we should get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
There was never a point.
I've done this shit. I know exactly what these motherfuckers be thinking, because they tell you the shit in the locker room when the shit is over. They are that fucking comfortable, right? And you just sit and listen. You know, you just get, because if you don't, you know what's going to happen the next time something does happen. Now, in the situation that I was in, things happen fairly regularly because they were all locked together. It was in a jail. And what I can tell you is, them brothers did not want no trouble. And they even tell you this in the training, man. That's why all these little dudes feel so comfortable fucking with them. It's because they let you know in the training, most of the time the inmates are not angry at you. They say this to you. And then, and let me tell you something. In my experience, none of the times was they angry at me. Now, I mean, they would be mad at me for dumb shit between them and I, but they wouldn't be mad at me as a group. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's when you have issues, when a group of consciousness say, fuck this, we done had enough. And I have seen it happen. And when it happened, it was for a good goddamn reason. And this is what I'm trying to say, is that law enforcement is too heavy-handed because it is not based in what is great for the community that it is policing. It is about making people submit to the will of the government, period.
Yeah.
I think policing, and I'm not just trying to say this in like a nonchalant way. I think overall the world has changed from what policing needed to be before to where it's now. When policing started, if you take the racism part about it, take the patty roller and all that shit,
slave
part
patrols,
of it, the slave patrols and patty rollers and all that shit. Take all that out of it. Just think about cops on the beat, you know, from whenever cops started in the 1800s or whatever, right? You had to be more aggressive because it was an open Wild Wild West type thing, and they like the way cops operate. They still use old school fucking methods, like the methodologies, the shit that they use. Am I wrong?
That's the whole problem.
Rob, it's not like a place where
you're not wrong.
It's not about innovation. It's not a place about innovation. They pretty much like, this is how we control shit. This is how you run shit. This is what works, right?
Right. Well, when it comes to controlling crowds, that is consistent, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, the whole mentality, you can't separate one part from the other part. You did, because policing started. It didn't start to protect the citizens. It started to retrieve the property. Yeah, and if the property still looked the same, let me tell you, I learned this when I was. Go ahead, I'm listening. What were you saying?
No. I know that, but I'm saying
you can't take it out.
The reason why I said take it out is, all I'm saying is, if you just look at the raw, like, what policing does, it's all about there's nothing in it that says, like, they constantly coming out with new shit, non-lethal methods, all kinds, constantly. They have whole conventions on this shit, on new and easier ways to take down suspects. Ain't none of that shit getting bought. Them niggas buying tanks.
That's the whole thing, though, X. That's the whole thing, is because it's not about that. It's not about that. It's about the other thing. It's about the control. It's about the control aspect.
Yeah. And that's that old school shit that when I talk about defund police, that's what we need to defund that shit.
Had there been mental health professionals on that scene instead of just those 4 cops, someone might have said, hey, can we just let him chill out for like 10 or 15 minutes before we take him?
Hey, man, saying, like,
hey, I believe mental health.
If you look at TV back in the 50s, if you watch Andy Griffith, they let they drunk go in and out as he pleased. Don't think the world ain't far from that. You know what I'm saying? This shit wasn't somebody's imagination. When you know people, you treat them differently.
Speaking about being treated differently, because you might know him, Matt Gaetz is in some trouble, surprisingly. Or unsurprised. It feels like it was a matter of time. I'm gonna be honest. Like,
hey, this motherfucker, like, every time the story come on, like,
it's worse.
Yeah, Rachel Maddow ain't a gossip show. This bitch ain't Wendy Williams. And like, Rachel Maddow is like, girl, you ain't gonna believe this, man. You ain't gonna believe this Matt Gaetz shit. Like Rachel Maddow. It's like, what?
Sis,
I mean, this motherfucker, he's out trumping Trump.
But look. Let me just say this: Rachel has been a little more like that since Trump was in office. Like, some of the crazy shit Trump, she's like, oh my goodness, bitch, I didn't get no worse.
So this is how this shit kicked off. Apparently, he's friends with this cat down in Florida, who's a tax collector, which of course, right? Like, that's, oh, you're a
Republican tax collector.
Your best homie is the sheriff of Nottingham Forest, or whatever the fuck his name is.
Exact.
Of course. Well, Gaetz's dad was a politician. They got money, right? He comes from money already. He's friends with this dude who they find out is in an illegal ID scam to minors and is involved in some minor shit. And the way they find out is that Gaetz is taken to see this dude's operation of fake ID scam shit going on, and the IDs get left out, and a chick comes the next morning. They find text messages basically of this dude copping to the idea of like, oh man, did I leave something out from the operation?
Man, like this dude, you were being generous. Like,
yes, I'm trying to sum it up because we're almost an hour in, right? Like,
okay, go ahead.
No. So I'm just saying, like, so Gaetz gets pulled into this thing, and then all of a sudden we find out that Gaetz may have traveled through different states with someone who may have been 17 at the time. He comes out and has this wild ass interview with Tucker Carlson. I don't know. That was the weirdest. Okay,
hey,
so this is how I know he's fucked.
Carlson.
This is how I know Matt Gaetz is fucked, because Tucker Carlson ain't losing his spot. Okay, that's just Tucker Carlson is, and Fox at this point knows when they can, after the 1.6 billion lawsuit from Dominion, like, they know when it's okay to just be like, we gonna ride with you, and when it's like, well, we gonna turn out the lights, you on your own, brother, because they left Matt Gaetz out on his own on that one.
Hey, dude, somebody called out. I think I might have been John Fluzel game. I'm not sure if it was him or not, but they were like, when Tucker Carlson was like, I don't know what you're talking about, because he was like, that woman that Tucker Carlson was with might not have been his wife.
That's also possible.
They was probably out. Like Matt Gaetz didn't make up that night, but Tucker Carlson was out with another bitch. And like, nigga, what the fuck is you? Why the fuck is you telling my business? Cause you know some stupid shit. I can't stand nobody that's called dry stitching. If you don't know what dry stitching is, y'all, that's Matt Gaetz was dry stitching like a motherfucker. That's when you get in trouble, and when you get in trouble, you just start randomly naming all motherfuckers that's doing the same shit you doing and getting them in trouble. They ain't had none of this. Tucker Carlson got a called a stray bullet.
He also brought up that other shit where he was like, we've all had to deal. I'm not the only person on this screen who's had to deal with someone claiming false shit about them doing assault. Tucker was like, look, brother, I don't know what that was. That's some lady from 20 years ago who said I stalked her, didn't stalk her. None of that. She was a stalker of mine.
She didn't even know me. I never met her. She didn't ever see me before. She didn't even know I was a human being. You know what I mean? Like, let me just say this, man. These motherfuckers are amazingly funny. When they finally start turning on each other, you're like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like Tucker Carlson has so much Republican dick down his throat. And then as soon as old boy turned, he's like, nope, don't want no more. I'm good. I want none that you got. I don't want any of them.
I like to refer to him as Tucker Swanson because he is of the Swanson Empire. The when you walk down the frozen food aisle and you see those Swanson dinners and shit.
I want to piss.
He is a Swanson billionaire.
I just literally want to open up one of those freezer doors and just piss all over.
All you're doing is making work for the employees that work there. That's
I know. There's no way. They probably don't even own that shit anymore. A lot of those companies got bought out and switch ownership.
Allow me to point out, thus the 400-year head start. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Matt, so that's the other thing too, is like Matt is the son of a guy who's got a ton of money, and like he may end up leaving Congress, he may end up facing some bullshit, but that dude will be on OAN in a year.
Guys, I know this is an inside joke for us, but I swear I'm not 100% sure this is true. But I think the people who invented TV dinners were black, and the Swanson stole it. I'm not kidding. I think that's the truth. I think that's real. I think that's like a Black history.
That sounds a little Hotep-ish if you want to.
I feel like that was a Black history fact. Like there's like a dude named like Rufus. Rufus.
No fucking way.
Rufus Jenkins or some shit
of course it is. Yeah, he was on. Wasn't that a defensive end for the Panthers?
And the Swanson motherfuckers got him for it.
Was like, just have him put me in. I'm like, dude, I don't think it's gonna work.
Yeah. I tried to send you a message because we were gonna have a guest on the show today, but we can't work it in because we wanted him here from the start. Yeah, let him know that we can't.
He's in the waiting room.
Yeah, I can't. If I put him on, it screws up the.
Wait a second. Hey, let me ask a quick question. Manny.
Yep.
If we need extra time, do you have extra time, or are you sure?
You guys are good.
Do you guys want to stop the show and tell everybody to come back in 15 minutes?
I don't want to do that.
Okay.
I'd love to have Hannibal on, but I don't want to. I have concerns about that.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, it's just the timing of it is, had we not found out 5 minutes before the show that we were trying to get him on, we'd probably been able to work something out. I love the free form of it. I wish from a technological standpoint it would make sense. It would work, but we'd have to reset up a lot of streams to make it happen. Unfortunately, I wish we could. Let's jump back into this shit because we probably only got about 10-15 minutes left anyway, and then we're gonna bail out of here.
Cool. Where was we at? We're Gaetz shit still.
Yeah, we were talking about Gaetz. I mean, dude's done. I think he's it's not looking better for him. Nobody. You know what I haven't seen? You know what I haven't seen? I haven't seen anybody else step up and try and say anything about him.
Hey, that was one of my favorite things about Rachel Maddow talking about this shit because when at the beginning of her show, Kevin McCarthy was asked, "Hey, if he gets indicted, are y'all gonna pull him from all of his committee assignments? He's a committee chair on something, or the ranking member or whatever." And Kevin McCarthy was like, "Nah." And Rachel said, like in real time, she heard that. She's like, that doesn't seem right. That seems, I can't believe he said that. That just doesn't seem right. That's at the top of the show, right? And at the end of the show, some more news broke about Matt Gaetz. And she goes, hey, remember that thing that happened at the top of the show? They said that he was going to stay on if he gets indicted. Yeah, Kevin McCarthy is already, I didn't think it sounded right when he said it at the beginning of the show. Yeah, he's taken that statement back and said he will be removed from anything if he gets indicted. Like and also when you talk about what's his name, Bill Barr. Apparently, Bill Barr, this motherfucker is so, I don't want to say guilty, but the evidence against him is so strong that Bill Barr was literally canceling appearances and avoiding any appearances that Matt Gaetz was going to be at because he didn't want to be photographed with that nigga. Like, because he knew this dude's finna go and get indicted.
That's some extra
like,
stuff.
he backed out of a special event in Florida because he found out Matt Gaetz RSVP'd to the shit.
And dig this, the dude that got Matt Gaetz caught up with him in their bullshit, was one of the most horrible people to give a public life. Not only did they start carrying around guns and shit to be tax collectors. Now, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you tell? It's not like you got to go get the shit. People bring it to you. Yeah. So why do you need a gun?
Yeah, you ain't showing him into his house like you're fucking like you're a loan shark.
You tax a gun with the tax collector and you came to my crib with a gun, I'm 100% be like, the fuck you gonna do with that? Like, I mean, say like you gonna shoot me if I don't give you the tax money? Nigga, I ain't got it. Yeah.
Let me tell you how you definitely will not get this tax money.
Because if you shoot me, it's pretty much game over on the money, right? Like,
we even for sure. I'm gonna get this back out.
Because if I survive this motherfucker, no, we not even, nigga. Somebody from the county shot me. I'm about to be rich. I'm about to get paid. Goddamn it, I survive this motherfucker. And if I don't survive with my son, somebody finna get some money.
Right.
It ain't gonna be the tax collector.
and the tax collector also needed a drone.
Because a lot of people don't know this, but most city and state settlements are tax-free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can't tax you on a settlement from the city or the state.
You gotta tax you on some shit that they gotta pay.
Speaking of some more taxes, Biden has unveiled his infrastructure plan. It's a over $2 trillion plan he's got. Originally it was $3 trillion. I don't know what he cut out. Probably some shit to help niggas.
For sure. 100%. Oh, let's do it.
That was like code word in the 70s, like when you would watch Good Country, and they would all be like, last hide, first five.
Yep, that's the new shit.
Well,
yeah. First 500 million in, first 500 million out, last 500 million in. That's what it is. Whenever they got a new plan, they're about to do some shit. Oh, we gonna raise some taxes? How much is gonna be for black people? Shit.
See, there is some shit where this is not a communism versus capitalism argument, because I am pro capitalism, just pro hybrid. With a bit of socialism in. But my point of bringing this, China has built 10 cities bigger than New York in the last 20 years because they needed to. Like 10 cities, they built them. They didn't exist.
I mean, China also has some towns that are completely empty that they built up.
No. I mean, these are populated. I mean,
right.
they got the people for it.
Yeah.
But they did it, and they just and even like when COVID began. The reason why they were able to handle this shit is they just built fucking giant hospitals. They literally built, like, they were like, oh, this is gonna be a problem. And they built fucking football stadium size hospitals, these huge fucking hospitals, to handle the shit immediately. And I know that they have a lot more. They have 4 times as many people as we do, and they have. You
also can't say, I bet the guy who's running this place smells bad in public, or else you go to a farm somewhere.
You're gonna be in the foundation of the hospital that they building. You're gonna be part of one of the bricks in the foundation.
Look how quickly he built this hospital on the bones of our enemies.
Yeah.
Hey, you the shit.
There is some merit, or there's some value in the ability to see. We've been talking about our infrastructure problem for 20 years, since literally in the year 2000, when we had the fucking everybody thought the 2000 bug. 1999, when we thought the year 2000 was gonna fuck up everything and stuff like that. They were talking about the infrastructure needed fixing then. Highways need fixing. there's materials now that we can make highways that you didn't have to fix them all the time like we do now. We could do that shit, but we just haven't done it. And he's talking about at least a step towards that direction with that and technology and building things up. And I'm pretty certain, again, I know this is heavy Rachel Maddow. Shout out to Rachel Maddow.
Rachel Maddow, love shout outs.
I'm gonna let Rob handle that one. There's a lot of Rachel Maddow on this episode.
Sorry, but he said something last night, and I really, really hope.
Welcome to the Rachel Maddow OGs.
You said something, you got to know where to find it.
On last night's show that I really, really hope is factual. Right after Joe brought up this plan, Mitch McConnell came out and said there'll be 0 Republican votes in the Senate for it. Which, by the way, it's just,
I mean, why do we even get Mitch McConnell quotes? We could have done that one without him, couldn't we?
But Rich Maddow goes, I think Mitch McConnell thinks that was a bad thing, but no, that's a great thing because now they don't have to do the whole dance, the fake dance where we chop stuff that people really needed just to make it more palatable.
Well, part of that reason is because the last time that when they did the 1.9 trillion, one of the things that people who are more progressive brought up was the idea that fucking Democrats negotiated with themselves on that deal. So hopefully that's the stance they take this time, is that, oh yeah, you're right, we don't want to negotiate with ourselves again. Fuck it, we're just going to push the shit through. Makes a lot more sense to me.
That's the other thing. But they had
this one is harder for Joe Manchin to argue with. I'm sorry.
They had AOC on.
Yeah.
She was amazing. She was like, it ain't enough money. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
She said, we are spending $2 trillion in a year, a little bit better than a year. So in order to do that, you got to at least do half that over 10 years. So she's like, we need about 10 trillion. Now, what you have heard is they were talking about how Joe Manchin was up to about 4 trillion. So if you could get up to around the 4 trillion mark, that's better than you were before, even though it's not what you need.
Well, the thing that's important is that economists have said that a $2 trillion investment will reap a $5.7 trillion benefit down the road. So does it make sense to invest in fucking working roads so that so there's less damage to cars, less insurance claims, allowing people to invest their money into other things besides higher payments?
Rich.
You know what I'm excited about?
Your job make these other people rich. Yes, it's only fair that they fix the roads and that those people pay for it, or at least give some of their tax dollars towards it.
Yeah.
Actually pay tax dollars and instead of dodging the shit. What I'm excited for is this shit goes through is I believe that they will create hyperlink trains, much faster, sonic or other methods of train transportation. Chicago has long been rumored a place that Elon wanted to do his zero energy tube train system here, and with the money like that, it'd be awesome to do it to see it done. Because
immediately Amtrak and somebody else came out with some plans of how they would expand their shit right away. So there is some shit with that. I think trains would be a great future travel.
Oh, y'all know Joe love trains.
Joe's all about them trains.
Yeah, he's all about the trains. Like, wait, is it gonna be more trains? Hell yeah! Get this shit passed.
Did you guys see the story I sent you about Rolling Stone?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't read it all, but I see.
It's been Rolling Stone's taken a weird turn. I remember growing up, Rolling Stone was this amazing, it was a hippie magazine that was way into the 60s movement and the Beatles. And it was this great, they had these great articles about music and life and celebrity and fame.
One of my favorite movies is about a dude being a writer for them when he was 16.
It's a Cameron Crowe movie.
Yeah, Cameron Crowe movie. His life story. Yeah. I can't think of the name of it right now because the tea's kicking in, but y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's Almost Famous is the name of the movie.
Almost Famous, yes.
Yeah, and so it had this great reputation, and not too long ago it was bought up by the Penske family, which is currently I think run by Jay Penske. Jay Penske is tied in super tight with the Saudi Arabian conglomerate, which is OBS, which is the dude who killed Khashoggi, who was the American journalist who was hacked to death over in Saudi, was taken by Saudi Arabians and hacked to death. And Jay Penske's dad was given the Medal of Honor by Trump during the Trump administration. Penske got $200 million loan to help get to help get Rolling Stone and a bunch of other shit going in the first place, which everybody assumes that pretty much came from Saudi Arabia as well. And it's a really sad thing because they're using Rolling Stone now to try and go after progressive politics and, you know, democratic issues and things like that, all under this guise. And it's weird to see something that was a type of journalism that was avant-garde and spoke to you and was a thing you could pick up and enjoy. That's not, you can see how obvious someone can infiltrate an arm of or a style or a place in media and shift it with the fan base that was there, right? Like how many people started reading that magazine when they were younger and are now of an age where, you know, if you're reading it, you're also at an age where maybe your mindset is more willing to buy into that bullshit too, right? Like a lot of 70-year-olds who were reading Rolling Stone 50 years ago whose attitudes have also changed and adjusted with it, right?
Also, people who in younger demographics, like Rolling Stone used to be one of those magazines that if it's in Rolling Stone, it's real. It's
right. Yeah. Yeah,
it's solid.
I mean, well, some of the Hunter S. Thompson stuff.
I mean, but I'm saying
it was not real, but it was real to him.
Perfect.
But what I'm saying is you believe Hunter S. Thompson actually did them drugs,
right?
He wasn't making that shit up.
The experience being portrayed to you could count on as being from like a place of realness, right? Not fabricated and not with this agenda. Not with this agenda to push an ideology on people. And it's a tough thing to see. One of the good things to see, we were talking about religion as part of an issue with Lil Nas X earlier. It's come out that less than 50% of adults belong to a congregation, which is a huge drop off. It's actually 47%. It was actually 70% in 1999.
You know, at first I didn't understand. I thought these two things were disconnected, but they actually do make sense together. I am seeing in the area where I live, there's a lot more mega churches being built. Like literally, there's several churches that are like 1,000 people sized churches around near my house. And so when I saw that, I was like, that doesn't seem to track with where I live. But a mega church works better in a market where the smaller churches are falling to the wayside because fewer people are going on a regular thing. You need the mega church and they eat up, and that would make sense why the mega churches are starting to happen. Because where I live, I will not be
it's
surprised.
like a Sam's Club coming in and all the local grocery stores start closing down, right?
Yes. And it's not good. And there's not, I just realized as I'm saying this to you guys, I am worried about the area that I live in because I think it is as religion as we're talking the discussion.
You mean mega churches?
Yeah, dude. There's literally almost like a not Horcrux. What's the thing called with a Satan with the stars? I can't.
Pentagram.
Pentagram. Boom. Thank you, Manny.
Yep.
You devil worshiping motherfucker.
It's out.
It's out there. There's almost like a pentagram of mega churches around my crib, dog.
Right.
I know I'm being psycho about it, but literally, you know this, Bobby. You've been to my crib before. There's a giant cross. You see it too, I think, Rob. There's a giant cross as soon as you pull into the subdivision of my crib outside, which I like. Here's the thing. I'm not anti-Christian. I mean, I don't like Christianity, but like I am not. I believe people should be allowed to express whatever they want to. But
I just disagree with it.
Did nobody ask me if that was okay? Did nobody ask me if that big ass cross was okay? Like fuck that big ass cross. That's just offensive to me every time I go out there because
what it shows me is that this is where there's a couple of things intersecting in what you guys are saying. The first thing is we all know that X has earned his way deeply into the middle class. We know this dude ain't struggling because he's living around a lot of white people and they nervous. Right. And the other thing is we are watching the church industry be stricken by capitalism because that's what capitalism does. It will take every resource and push it into one big resource, and that's the only thing that's left because that's what it's designed to do. It is designed to kill everything around it and make itself your only fucking reference point. So that's what's happening even in religion. And religion is designed to keep people in their place so it can keep feeding capitalism. So now all this shit is about to fall in on itself because it can't get no closer.
Absolutely. One place where people have made their voices heard is down in Atlanta. The Major League Baseball is looking to move their All-Star game now because of the change in voting rights and the voting legislation that's passed in Georgia. There was supposed to be an All-Star game there this summer in, I think, June or July. They are now going to move that. They haven't figured out where they're going to move it. They're not moving up LA, who's supposed to have it in 2022. They're just moving it out of Atlanta because they're
This
fucking.
is the second time in recent history, because when they did the trans rights thing in North Carolina, sports did stuff like this, and in a fashion, like in a real time, like, nope, we're not fucking with you on this. And I think that makes, because this is a really weird thing to say, but we could scream till our fucking throats were sore about civil rights and equal justice and all this shit, and the motherfuckers that matter, that make the decisions, hear that shit and be like, okay, I guess you got a point or whatever. But you take away their toys, you take away their sports, like the shit that they want to see. Like if motherfuckers start saying we ain't coming to the Masters because this is some bullshit, like we boycotting the Masters, that should have changed immediately. Like if I just realized, I didn't even think about that. The Masters is coming up in a couple.
If the white people running their part of the game get angry enough, then the white people who run the political side of the game feel like they got to do something, because the way the white people who run the political part of the game get to keep doing the political part of the game is if the white people who run the other part of the game keep giving them money.
Yeah.
And that's the deal.
That's the real deal. Because the people who are running the fun shit and all that stuff, they got way more motherfucking money than the motherfuckers doing the politics. The politics shit, that's like a lower level hustle. That's like when you and your second tier billionaire, you get to do some politics. You get to do politics.
Yeah, the nigga that owns the Braves can fucking buy and sell Kelly Loeffler. Well, not Kelly Loeffler, but the rest of the motherfuckers can't buy and sell Kelly Loeffler. Her husband owns the New York Stock Exchange, so that's the only competition. That's the only competition down there. But Brian Kemp can't run up against the guy who owns the Braves. That's not a competition. Financially, he's got no shot. He's got no shot at that at all.
It's tears. It's like Jay-Z, Kanye, them niggas they ain't even at the politics level yet. They at the, y'all just the showy, people get to see you billionaires. Then it's the next tier, you get to politics. And after that, you own, like, what's the nigga that own the Clippers?
Oh shit, I forget what his name is.
I know what I'm talking about. Like
that asked out on names.
That dude is so far above politics.
Steve
like
Ballmer.
That motherfucker, Steve Ballmer could buy a state. He could just buy Wyoming if he wanted to. Yeah. Like I don't know. I think he's in like the 80 billion range or some shit like that.
Yeah,
like,
he's worth like 85 billion, something like that.
Yeah, like he could just be like, you know what? Fuck you, Wyoming. I'm done with this shit. And just buy the state. And Wyoming would change the game. That's stupid rich. People shouldn't be that rich.
Yeah, well, especially not while there's a lot of people that ain't got shit. I mean, that's
it'd
be one thing if everybody was like, oh no, it'd be one thing if like even the person who's got the shittiest life was like, nah, I got fresh water, everything's dope, I got a crib to go home to, food is in all the time, and somebody was like, I own a yacht, you'd be like, all right, that seems reasonable, but like. You know what I mean? Like if everybody could eat and have a place to live and get health care and all that shit, and their kids could go to school and own a puppy or whatever, then like if a guy owned a yacht, it'd be fine. But like in the meantime, it would feel so weird to me to have a yacht and pass a homeless person on my way to it. That just doesn't seem. It seems odd to me.
I'm not saying everybody should have a yacht, but everybody should be able to get a boat. And like go out in a boat.
I mean, everybody should be able to have access to be able to use a boat.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck if it's a paddle boat. You should be able, like, it's motherfuckers that can't even.
We live in the state. I'm a part of the place. I was born here. I got to be here. We got enough boats. Let me get on a boat. Why are you trying to hold me from the boat?
What you're asking for now is socialism.
Well, a version of it. I mean, a level of it.
I'm saying I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just telling you what your average, those who want this shit to stay the way it is.
I think there's a confusion. I think a lot of people look at previous versions of state-run socialism and not social programs in a democratic system. And they confuse that. And they look at communism the same way. You look at old communist styles, and a lot of that is state-run communism and not the actual like version of communism in which the production is owned by by the communal people. And the rules are made that way too. A lot of times when you see those things happen, there's usually a leader or a dictator who ends up taking control, and it's a state-run program as opposed to something where it's a true version of that. But as somebody who kind of leans more into the democratic socialist arena, like you can still have good democracy. It's just a seat at the table and more unions and more involvement and more programs, which you can certainly afford to do if you make the well-being of the total citizenry more important than whether, Mark Zuckerberg has a 500,000 square foot house, right? Like we can balance that out a little bit, right? And I think even, if it meant that at some point, crowds wouldn't show up at Zuckerberg's door with pitchforks and fire, he might be a little more open to that idea too, because almost every revolution that has happened because elites have put their financial foot on the throat of the poor. Almost every revolution is about money.
I feel we're at border of where Bezos right now, he's not, but like if Bezos and Zuckerberg and like one other person got
Elon,
like if the three of them literally was just like, you know what, fuck it. We decided we're taking over, and hey Mark, we're gonna make you the leader because we think Facebook is probably everything that's going on. Like they could do the shit.
I mean, they could afford armies.
Yeah, they
got army money, dog. They remember when people were like, I could buy a bank, nigga. I could buy armies. Okay, I could buy a whole Air Force, dog.
Hey, nigga, I fund your army, nigga. Like,
one of the guys funds the satellites and gets niggas internet, so he can just turn.
I like the Simpsons. The Simpsons have. This scares the fuck out of me because they're always right with this shit, or not always, but they have a
good track record.
A better than Nostradamus track record because that shit's way more accurate. Like, what if that was the problem with Nostradamus? Is his shit was he was just a horrible sketch artist. I think it was a frog. I don't know. Like it was like the shit was he had accurate predictions. Was just the person who was trying to draw what he was trying to say. So anyway, my point is they had a thing where America was broken up into the United States of corporations, and it was Google, Microsoft, Facebook, and I don't think it was Tesla because Tesla didn't exist.
No.
Didn't exist, and it was a different, I think NBC or something like that. Or
Yeah.
Disney. No, it's Disney. And that's just not, and the crazy thing, that whenever that episode came out, that was way before Disney bought everybody.
Speaking of which, I got a Falcon and Winter Soldier episodes to watch. So, Rob, where are you going to be this week, man? Let's bone out of here. You being anywhere? You being at the house? Where can people find you?
All over the internet, looking for my new video, Jones Cryotherapy and Cryptocurrency Advisory.com.
Yeah. XL, where people find you, brother? Combs. Moby Combs.
Dude is gone.
Manny, get the outro music ready.
Hey, actually, I'm going to be in Lockport, Illinois next Saturday, not this Saturday, not tomorrow, the next April 10th, doing a show, one of my first shows locally. It's going to be dope. Just check
Where
me
can
out
they find it?
At XL Comedy.
The T is in, baby.
At XL Comedy, all the information will be there about showtime and location. Thank you very much, Bobby. The T is
you can find me at Mocha_Jesus on Twitter and Instagram. Find the show at New OGs Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Get over to People of Comedy at People of Comedy or at People of Comedy Network. Check out the new Moby Combs video. We will catch you here next Friday. Thank you for kicking it with us. That's it. We're out of here. That's what's up.
I'm sorry, fellas.
Hit me on my other phone. Oh, yeah.
Are we clear?